Hello and welcome back to the Reapers. So we've got another tactical debrief today. This one I've not been looking forward to doing, but it's got to be done. This is last night's Airquake mission. Airquake means just that we have a blue side here and a red side here, and there's no mission at all apart from fly into each other in the middle and shoot each other. And then as soon as you die, you just get another plane. It's just a way that we can have a bit of fun, let off some steam, and it's a good bit of practice as well. So it's all good. Now, I can't do a full debrief on this. I've counted just under 60 total kills. Actually, I think 62 total kills. And if we analyse 62 dogfights, then the movie would be 3 or 4 or 5 hours and no one in the world would watch it. And plus, I don't have time to do it. So we can't do that. So we're just going to have to do the constructive criticism. And what that is that we had a horrendous rate of fratricide yesterday. Fratricide is friendly fire, killing your buddy. There's absolutely no excuse for it, and we can accept it. We had 7 total team kills out of 62 total kills, so that's more than 10% of the kills that were done were on friendly, so that's completely unacceptable. Obviously, we couldn't, do missions like that. It would just be impossible. So we're going to go through and analyse the fratricides. So why does the fratricide happen at such a high rate? Is it just something that we have to expect to happen? Is it inevitable? Well, if we look at the statistics, the answer is no. If we look at the 2 most experienced guys here on this fight, we've got Cap here and a Vegan. We've got Fortinero somewhere down here. I think I'm right in saying that neither Cap and Fortinero has done a team kill in over a year now. So that's 365 sorties without incident. So that rules out any possibility that something like fratricide is inevitable. It's not. It's all about the pilot doing the team killing. And it's usually the same guys that are doing the team killing repeatedly. So it gives the game away. So why is it happening? Well, I think we can split it down into 2 areas. At least at this level. Area 1 is the technical understanding of the situation that you're in. So you're in a situation, you're in a fight, and it's the understanding of the tools that you're using. The aircraft, how it flies through the air, the missiles that you're firing, how the missiles work, the guns that you're firing, trajectory of the guns, that kind of thing. And the second thing is the psychology, the attitude, and the decision-making of the human pilot that needs looking at. So we're going to concentrate on those 2 areas. So if both of those areas are good, they're in check, they're well rehearsed, then you won't get any fratricide at all. If those areas are out of balance or not in check, then you will get what we had yesterday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through, try and find the fratricide incidents, and we'll just go through them one by one, and we'll on the fly we'll work out what went wrong, what the pilot did wrong, and we'll get on with it. Before I do that, this looks pretty sick. Poor old tail is just flown into 5 MiG-21s. I'm absolutely not going to get stuck analysing 62 fights, but that's pretty cool. Well done, tail. And he somehow gets out of this as well. Probably because of his speed. Right, no, we're not getting sucked into pretty fights. Stand by as I go and look for the first incident. Right, now, I promised I wouldn't get sucked into analysing this fight, and I won't, but I think this is where I kill Fortinero. And let's face it, the entire internet wants to see Cap killing Fortinero in ultra slow-mo. So stand by. Poor old tail gets taken out by Fortinero. Evil, bad Fortinero. Prepare to pay for killing my Belgian friend. Tail didn't, I don't think, he did know he was getting shot at. Wrong countermeasures. No, that's right. He did it right. He did it good. But just not enough energy to get away from that. Cap says, "You Argentinian mother, prepare to pay for killing my buddy." Straight on S6. Come on, Cap. Let's not cock about here. 4,000 feet. Great aspect right there. That's the place to shoot. He's not turning tight enough to put my missile off. However, I'm at a weird aspect. I might not take the shot here. I may choose to wait. I do choose to wait. His aspect right to left is still low. So I'm still happy to fire the missile. If he was further on that turn, I wouldn't fire the missile because it would almost certainly be a miss. And let's go down to super slow-mo now because we want to revel in the beauty that is taking down Fortinero. Look at him. He's shriveling like a Bond villain. He's thinking, I got away with it too. Splat. Now he's full of frag. How does that feel, Fortinero? But he carries on. Because he's Argentinian. He's tough. He's used to cold winters. So let's carry on with this. Cap's not falling for the game. I know that he's still alive. And I've got the power of the vegan on my side. Boom. Stage 3 burner. Let's get accelerating. Who can accelerate first? Fastest? Obviously a vegan. Vegan is ultimate. Saying that, he is really shifting. 628 knots. And it appears I've just crashed into the ground, which is weird, but there you go. And that's another robot out at 4,000 feet. Ideal. 4,000 feet is perfect for a crappy missile like the vegan has. And he's got no aspect, so there's no way he can survive this. And let's go into super slow-mo so we can absolutely revel in the destruction. Look at it come. Fortinero's like, guys, I'm Spanish and I'm getting a web. Boom! In the tailpipe. Cap is off to celebrate at base with the girls and cigars and champagne. Right. Now we've got that important prelude out the way. We are now going to do our job and look for the friendly fire. Stand by. The one thing I should say, I've got to minute 26 in the fight, and it's all been absolute chaos. Just look at, this is actually quite light from what I've been watching so far. So to be honest, it's actually amazing we did so well up to 27 minutes here without any team kills at all. It's just mountains of men spinning around each other. So it's not that we're particularly bad at team killing, it's just, it was exceptionally stressful. Is that an excuse? No. So we're going to carry on. I haven't found my first team kill yet, but it will materialise soon. Stand by. Right, we have our first official fratricide. The guy who did it was Tender here, and he shot this guy, Warren. It took until 31 minutes of constant spinning around each other, and we finally managed a team kill. So that's not too bad. But still, it's not good enough. It never is. So let's try and analyse what we've got here. We've got Tender here, the hostile here, 2.3 miles. We're slightly out of range of a kill, actually. But he doesn't have any ranging equipment on the vegan, so he doesn't really know that, so it's near enough. And we've got two guys on the tail of that MiG-21, which is Warren and Elo, and to a less extent, Dove. So let's go and try and get a better look at that. So there's an angle there from behind his vegan. He's got a MiG-21 in a right silhouette there, so we can tell it's the hostile by the wing shape. And just behind him, maybe 100 feet behind him, is Warren there, on a rear aspect silhouette with an F5, and then another 200 feet behind him is Elo with a rear aspect F5. Let's see if we can do a cockpit view. So that's Tender's cockpit view. You can see there, it's got a good look at Udarosa there with his rear aspect, his top silhouette. You've got the F5 there, we can't see because of the labels, and another F5 there. And then Tender took the shot on this guy here. Now I can see straight away it's an obvious bad mistake. So why is that? Well, we go into our two areas that we looked at before. First of all, is the understanding of the machinery that we're using. So first of all, Tender would have had a lock on the target. You can see the box around the target there. That means that he had a lock on that target with his sidewinder or near enough as his heat-seeking missile. So what does that mean? So in Tender's mind, that meant, okay, I've got a lock on that baddie. That means the missile that I fire will go and kill that baddie and only that baddie. That, of course, is far from the truth. The actual understanding of the machinery is thus that we have a target here with a box around it, and that does indeed mean that at that particular moment in time, before you pull the trigger, that heat seeker is illuminating that heat source. Does that mean that it's going to go and kill that heat source? No, it doesn't. So as soon as we press the trigger and we fire that missile, it's then the umbilical is cut from the mothership, and it no longer has any relationship to the mothership at all. It's completely self-guiding. And it's not even intelligently guided, especially with an old missile like this. But even with a new missile, it's not particularly intelligently guided. It's like a baby. It constantly scans around the sky, and it looks at all the heat sources it can find. It just finds the hottest heat source that it can find in that moment during its travel, and the one that intersects its path best for a hit. It has no way of knowing which heat source is friendly, which heat source is foe. It just looks for the hottest heat source and the one that's most likely to hit with its current path. And so Tender fired that, and it got, say, 300 feet away from the Vegan, and then it's still scanning these heat sources. It's got all these heat sources to look at, tens of heat sources to look at. One of them is Uderos's. Now, Uderos's heat source is slightly shielded because you can see the aspect of his aircraft is heading to the right here, whereas Gunzello and the other guy, Warren, are flying away from the missile. Their heat source is fully presented to the missile. So the first thing to say is the hottest heat sources there are the two F5s, not the MiG-21, due to the aspect. The second thing is the MiG-21 is travelling left to right aspect. The Elo and Warren are travelling essentially front to back aspect. They haven't started turning yet. Now, so the heat seekers at that point are going to think, well, I've got a MiG-21, well, I've got this plane here to follow that's harder for me to track because it's going to be flying left to right. And I've got these two brighter sources that are flying front to back, back to front, which are a much easier aspect for me to hit. So I'm not going to go for this heat source anymore. I'm going to go for this one. It's much easier for me to hit. And remember, it doesn't think IFF. It expects that you, with pilot, with your brain, has made sure that there is no friendly fire. Has made sure that there are no friendlies in the possible travel of this missile. That's what that missile is expecting. You, the pilot, have to do the work. You can't just pretend the missile is going to do the work for you. It's not that smart. So, the obvious thing is, as we'll go and play it through, the missile is out, and you can see it's starting to take a nice lead on this MiG-21. So, to begin with, it has listened to essentially Tender's command, and Tender has a good aspect there. You can see that his vector is in front of the MiG-21. This is all pretty good. It would have been nicer to see him a bit more in front of the MiG-21, but it's okay. You can see the missile's having to do a bit of work, but it's probably still a kill. It doesn't help that Uderos is putting flares out. Like I said before, it will just go for the hottest thing in the sky, and those flares are much hotter than the jet engine, so that's certainly not going to help. And at some point around here, I think the missile's changed its mind. I think it's deciding, no, this MiG-21 is going to be too hard to hit. This is much better. With my current course, this is a much better target. And remember, all it says is heat sources. It doesn't care who is blue and who is red. Let's follow it through and see if it deviates anymore. At some point about the middle, we can't see any definite sign, but at some point about the middle, it's decided I'm not going for this guy anymore. If I wanted to go for this guy, I would have to curve right in front of it, and that's work. What I'm going to do is go for this heat source here. It's a much better trajectory. That must have been what the mothership wanted me to fire at, because that's the trajectory they put me on. I'm going to go for this heat source here. And it's got a much better chance of hitting this heat source. And it's hit. That missile has done an excellent job. It's done exactly what it's been programmed to do. The missile is not at fault at all. All the fault was in the pilot when taking the shot. So let's run back again and have a look at it from the second area, which is the psychology of the pilot. So we're at 2.3 miles, so we're back again, and we're going to look at what the pilot's thinking. Well, the pilot is illuminating this guy here in his HUD, and his attitude at the moment is, I want to kill this fighter. I want to kill this fighter because it helps my team, and I want the kill, and all these good things that a pilot needs to have. So we could say that's a positive attitude he's got there. In fact, we could say it's an optimist's attitude. So this is an optimist's attitude to taking this shot. Now let's take Tender out of this cockpit, and let's put Cap or Fortunero in this cockpit, who've got more experience. Cap and Fortunero don't think about killing that guy at all. Our primary objective before pulling the trigger is to analyze the sky in front of us and think, what can go wrong with this missile? What happens if I fire at this target as it is with these guys in the airspace? What's the worst possible thing that could happen if I pull the trigger right now? That's what Cap and Fortunero are thinking about. A secondary concern after that is, okay, we've got to kill this red guy. So notice the difference in attitudes and psychology there. So Tender's thinking, I want to kill this guy. I've got a lock on him. You know, we're all good. Let's take the shot. Let's help the team out. The Cap and 14 Arrows thinking is the pessimist way of thinking, the negative way of thinking. What's going to go wrong? What's going to go wrong? What's going to go wrong? How can I get the blame if something goes wrong? What's going to go wrong? So Tenders is a much better attitude to have in real life, in 99% of life. You know, thinking positively, goals and stuff like that. Cap and 14 Arrows attitude is much worse. You can't have a negative, pessimist view on life, otherwise you'd be a miserable wanker and have no friends. So Tender's attitude is great for real life, but terrible for being in the cockpit in a dogfight. Can't have that attitude of I'm just going to kill the bad guy and everything's okay. Can't have that, otherwise you will commit fratricide. You've got to have Cap and 14 Arrows pessimist attitude, thinking negatively all the time. What's going to go wrong? 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 And waiting until there's a situation in which nothing can go wrong. If something can go wrong, it always will. That's how life works. So, if this was Cap and 14 Arrow doing the chase, we would have decided at this point, I can't take the shot. All the stuff is going to go wrong. That guy's going to get hit by accident. That guy's going to get hit by accident. That guy's going to get hit by accident. These guys could get hit by accident. And we would wait until the opportunity presented itself. So what could we have done differently? A, we can hold our fire and wait until the fight progresses at which there are no blues in danger. That's one thing we can do. The second thing we can do is we can communicate with Gonzalo and whoever the other guy is, Warren, and we can say, I want to take a shot, get out of the way. That's a legitimate thing to do. That's what the experienced guys do. Then these guys would comply, get out of the way, then you would be clear to take the shot. Nothing could go wrong. Taking the shot, though, just as it is not an option. That can't be done. So we've analysed that pretty thoroughly, that situation. We've talked about the psychology of the pilot, how you have to be thinking negatively, strangely, in any dogfight, and how the technical understanding of your hardware is essential. So, to summarise, heat seeker, as far as I'm even aware, modern intelligent heat seekers aren't good enough to fire and go for the target that you've chosen. The fact is, it's just a baby and it will go for the hottest thing that happens to be in its means of travel. All of the decisions have to be taken by the pilot's brain, not the missile. The missile does not have a brain. So, there's that. And the second thing is the psychology, as we've just talked about. Put those two things together, there will be no team killing at all. Okay, that's the first one. I expect now people are starting to get tired after half an hour. More mistakes are starting to happen. So let's scroll through and find the next one. Right, we didn't have to wait long. Believe it or not, in exactly the same turn that we were just in, another guy does a team kill. So, I don't think this one's going to be the same. So, this is literally the same thing here. Team kill's just happened. Tender then goes in and kills the bad guy. Bad guy's dead. Then we've got Tender exiting the fight. We've got Dove coming in here. And two missiles out, two AIM-9s out from Dove. And straight up and kills Tail. So, what the hell was that all about? Let's go and have a look. Super slow-mo. Missiles released there. So what is that? What is that thing that's happening? Why is Tender firing at nothing? Why is Dove Enigma firing at nothing? Well, the answer is the guy that they just killed a minute ago, although it's disappeared off our screen here, is actually still flying. So there's a big smoking wreck of a MiG-21, probably about there where my cursor is. And they want to kill it. Like we said before, their attitude is positive. I want to kill this thing to help my team. So Tender's firing at it, and Dove is firing at it. Now let's analyse the differences between Tender and Dove here. So firing at it is not a problem. Firing at it is a completely decent legal solution. They don't know that the pilot's dead. Now look at Tender here. Tender's situation is good. He's got no friends in his field of view of that seeker head that he can possibly kill. So when he's going through his negative, pessimist's thinking psychology of what's going to go wrong here, nothing can go wrong for Tender. He can fire that missile. The worst case is the missile misses, which is fine. That doesn't matter. The same cannot be said for Dove Enigma. Dove Enigma is his cone of his heat seeker is roughly kind of out there and out there in a V shape like that. The baddie is probably somewhere around there, we think. So he's firing at the baddie. The baddie's engines are probably off by this point because he's already been blown up. So he's a relatively low heat signal. So he fires this missile thinking positively, remember, I'm going to kill that guy. Well, he should be thinking negatively. He should be thinking, what else is in the cone of view of my heat seeker? Well, the fact is there's Tender with a whopping great afterburner on here. And even worse, Gunzello here, who's heading back to front. So heading cold, which means he's got his whopping great afterburner heading straight towards this AV-8 here, is a huge target for these two AIM-9 mics. Now, the AIM-9 mics are relatively modern missiles, but they're still dumb like children. They can't make decisions. All the decisions are made by this Harrier pilot. Once they're off the rail, they're just going to go for the hottest thing that happens to be in their direction of travel. So let's look at the direction of travel. Let's try and find the exact point when those missiles are unleashed. Stand by. The missile is off the rail there. And let's look. So if there's a target about there, we think, right? No, the Dove Enigma, his vector is actually behind the target. So by the time these missiles get off the rail and get up to speed, the target is actually going to be here. There is no way those missiles could have got that target. Or if they could, they would have had to have done a vast amount of work to turn, scrub speed from by their yaw to turn in front of their target. The missiles don't want to do work. They want to get the easiest target they see. And like I said, the missiles don't care who's blue and who's red. So they're going to go along this vector here. Well, a much easier target is Gunzello. He is turning essentially onto this vector. He's turning and he's going to fly along at that direction with lovely hot afterburners. They're a much better target. So essentially, these missiles come off the rail. They don't think that they're going for this guy. Or Dove Enigma thinks he's going for this guy, but the missiles think, we're going for this guy. Much better target. Remember, these missiles are just babies. They don't want to follow commands. They will just go for the hottest thing they see at the moment on the on the line of travel. Gunzello is the hottest thing they see at the moment on their vector of travel. And they think they're meant to be killing Elo. Again, the fault comes right down Dove Enigma's brain here. He should be thinking pessimistically, what can go wrong if I fire at this current direction of travel? He wasn't. He was thinking about, I just want to kill this guy. I got a lock on him. Nothing can go wrong. Again, understanding of the technology that he's got and the psychology and attitude in the cockpit. Exactly the same as Tender's team kill. I get the feeling the next 5 fratricides we'll be seeing are exactly the same. On the plus side, no one's actually IFF'd anyone wrong. It's all just been bad shooting. Right, let's carry on and find the next one. Right, we found the next team kill. This time it's Warren. Often seems to be the young guys. Warren, young guy. Tender, young guy. Who's the other guy? Dove. Dove's not very young. Okay, let's go and find out what happened here then. Right, well this one's completely inexcusable by the looks of it. So that's... Right, let's just watch this in slow mo to see how it happens. We've got a missile out and it's a clear bad shot. And that, sir, is a D. Yep, is it going to do it? Is it going to do it? Is it going to do it? Yes, it is. So the missile he fired had absolutely no intention of going for the red guy at all. So let's go back and have another cheeky look at that. So let's have a look at Warren's view. So Warren has his crosshair, his target lock on the red guy. That's great. And his attitude is, I'm going to kill the red guy. As we know, because we've just been talking about this twice, it's a completely invalid shot. He's got the missile, although he's targeting this guy here, and when the missile is about to go off the rail, it has every intention of going for that guy. As soon as that missile is off the rail, it's off the hook. It no longer has any interest in that guy. All it has interested in is the hottest burner at the best path of travel. So what's the hottest burner at the best path of travel here? Is it MiG-21 here that's miles away? Or is it a lovely hot AGS 37 here that's much closer on a better path of travel? It's obviously the Viggen. That missile, rightly so, goes for that Viggen. That it doesn't care who's red, doesn't care who's blue, it goes for the thing that it can kill best, and that is the Viggen. The missile did its job perfectly. The guy in the cockpit, Warren, did his job badly. So we're just going to reiterate yet again, Warren's understanding of his missile was incorrect. He now, having looked at this and being embarrassed by seeing this, knows that what he did wrong, and he will learn now, I must never fire a missile when there is a possibility of the missile seeking on another hot target from a friend. And again, his attitude is, I want to kill this guy. His attitude, as we know from the previous 2 times, is, what can go wrong? What can go wrong? How can I get the blame? How can I get court-martial? What can go wrong? What's the worst thing that could happen here? Which, of course, is my missile goes for tender, which is the thing that's always going to happen. 10 times out of 10, you take the shot, it's going to go for that target right there. So, that's that explained. It's very simple. Very, 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 very easy, this is. So, after this, if anyone does a kill like this again, I will absolutely... there will be comeuppance. Right, so, that's that done. I get the feeling we're about to see 4 more exactly like this. So, stand by as I go and find the next one. Right, I've identified the next. This is kill number 4, I think, and it's tender again, a regular offender. And it's exactly the same. There's no difference. He's firing at this guy here. He's clearly got guys that are way too close. Absolutely crazy to take this shot. We'll watch it through in slow motion anyway. Off it goes. There's no reason for that missile at all to go for that red guy. Why would it go for the red guy when it's such a hard shot? Why not go for that much hotter, probably this guy here, I expect. Remember, he's only... well, let's have a look at Tender's vector of shot. That was Tender's vector of shot there. That line that I'm trying to highlight there. And by the time that missile follows that vector of shot there, that red guy would have been up here somewhere. Tail would have been a much better target for that missile. The missile does its job perfectly. Missile does its job perfectly and kills tail. It's all it was all the pilot's fault there. The pilot was aiming, firing at a situation again that you can't fire at. So again, we'll do the obligatory cockpit review so we can just reanalyze what the problem was. We're in the cockpit. He's correctly got a lock on this guy here, but as we know, lock means nothing for a heat seeker. That seeker is going to do whatever it wants, and it's going to make life as easy as possible. What's obviously the most easy thing for that missile to go, it's that guy there. That's a much nicer, juicier target with a hotter engine. Every time you take that shot, it will kill this guy here. Missile did its job right. Pilot did its job wrong. A, technical understanding. B, the psychology of your mind before pressing the trigger. Exactly the same thing. Won't dwell on it again. We're going to go and look for number 5 now. Right, got our next one. So this is Warren again, firing into a mass clump of heat signatures there. So that missile could kill, I think, well, let's see who is aimed at. I've got a clue. This guy here. So this guy's chasing Cap, and Warren's thinking, whoa, I've got to save Cap, got to save the boss, got to kill this hostile, which is great. But, as we know, it's the wrong thing to think at the moment. So he unleashes, so he's targeted the correct guy. As we know, that means absolutely nothing. Once this P5 is off the rail, it's going to find the hottest thing it can find, and it's got Preen. It could easily go for Preen. It probably won't because he's a Harrier, pretty cold jets. It could go for Gonzalo. That would be a nice target. It looks like it's about ahead on the path. It could go for the guy it's intended for, Iderosa, although it probably won't. Well, I know it won't. King probably won't go for there. He's got a side aspect. Or the lovely hot burners of Cap right there. So let's follow this missile, see what it thinks. It's taken lead, and it never really went for Iderosa at all. So it looks like, although he had selected this guy, as soon as it came off the rail, that was going for Cap. Cap had the hottest burners at the time. Iderosa may have came off his burners as he was firing, whatever. It doesn't really matter. The fact is, you just can't fire into a mess of heat signatures like that. The chances are it's going to go for the wrong guy. Not much to say there. Cap's in a beautiful path for a hit for the missile there. And it will eventually get me. And kapow. Cap's dead. Same thing as usual. Understanding of your technology, as we've talked about, got to understand how that missile functions. 2, psychology. I want to kill that guy. That's bad. Your psychology has got to be, what can go wrong here? How can I accidentally kill one of my friends? Even if there's one of my friends and 4 bad guys, don't take the shot. Sod's Law says that missile is going to go for your friend. So, another lesson learnt there, hopefully. Exactly the same. Right, okay, let's carry on. Right, that is the end of the match. I found 5 team kills. There were 7, so I've missed 2. I know Skay did 1, but I couldn't find his kill anywhere, so you get off the hook, and I couldn't find the other one. So you guys are saved. And quite frankly, I'm fed up of watching my guys kill each other on the same side, so I'm going to quit there. Really, 2 really easy lessons to learn there. So we'll expect everyone on the side to watch that, absorb that, and I'll expect 0 team kills of this attitude from now on. And hopefully that's it. Game over, done. So thanks for watching. We'll see you later.